let's talk about let's talk about a little Red River rivalry, baby. Oklahoma versus Texas. Texas being favored by 6. And the hook, it's not touching 7 right now. It's not touching 7. Uh, how do we feel about this game, CD?
I'm just incredibly excited about it. Obviously, the 11 a.m. kickoff I love because my Minnesota Gophers are playing at the nightcap there on NBC against Michigan. So I'll get a chance to watch this game. Obviously, I'll be up and going to see what happens there. I don't have a great feel because I think we've all been really impressed with both of these teams. I think more so with Texas because of that signature win against Alabama. But Oklahoma, in their own right, has looked really impressive. A completely different football team than just 1 year ago in year one with Brent Venables, which we kind of saw coming with the jump in athleticism from year one to year two. We did a whole second year coaches draft where we had a huge emphasis on what happens from year one to year two with football coaches, college football coaches, right? And obviously Oklahoma's seeing the effect so far. Does it continue this week? Obviously, it's a rivalry game. You never know what's going to happen. Um, I, I'm just going to stick a rivalry game. If I had to call this game, I'm going to take the team I just think is a better team. The two deeps are just better. I'm going to go Texas to win, but I do think they're going to cover. I've been kind of going back and forth on this game. I'm still really impressed with Dylan Gabriel and the work that he's done. And I think their passing game can get some work on maybe a vulnerable and a little bit beat up Texas secondary right now. Um, but I think Texas is so talented. I think Quinn Ewers last year we saw him light him up in this game. Obviously, the Oklahoma defense is going to be out for blood after half 100 being hung on them last year. But what can you when you got Xavier Worthy, you got AD Mitchell, maybe Sanders coming back healthy, who knows? But there's
He's
so
day
many
to
pieces
day.
there. Yeah, and I obviously he's a huge impact guy, but they have other weapons there, multiple running backs, multiple wide receivers. Obviously, Sark, good old line that's coming together every week. But I do think the difference maker and what we've talked about with this Texas team all year is the defense, especially the defensive line. That's what's going to win in this game. Getting pressure on Dylan Gabriel. We saw Dylan Gabriel struggle a little bit with a really good defensive line in Cincinnati, right? You called that happening. You said their interior pressure is going to give him fits being a smaller quarterback. And I think Texas sees that on film. Now, obviously, Jeff Lebby and Dylan Gabriel will obviously try to scheme around that. Outside quick passes, move in the pocket, do whatever they can, to give Dylan Gabriel a better line of vision and a cleaner pocket, obviously. But I do think Texas is going to win because of that defense playing at an elite level right now.
And I'm gonna go ahead and ride with you there as well. And I'm not so sure. I think Oklahoma's defense has played really, really well, but I'm not sure it's perfect, right? I also think Oklahoma, I think it's very underrated that they've kind of been one dimensional. They haven't really actually run the ball all that well. They did not run the ball well in Cincinnati. They did not run the ball well in SMU. I mean, Marcus Major, their number one running back right now, is averaging 3.9 yards per carry.
Can't happen. That cannot
Can't
happen
happen.
against Texas.
And they've had opportunities to run the ball. They've been no short of opportunities to run the ball being up in all these games. So I do think this offense can be explosive. I just do think Texas's defense is that good. I think, like you said, uh, I think the interior pressure that Texas is going to give them is going to be absolutely a nightmare for Dylan Gabriel. I think it's going to be a nightmare. And I think Texas can do everything. I think they can run. Jonathan Brooks right now is one of the best running backs in college football. That's no secret. And I don't know that Oklahoma is going to be able to stop them, right? I don't know that Oklahoma. I haven't seen. They did a good job stopping Corey Kiner, Cincinnati. I think they really did. But then again,
It's also Emory Jones, and
Emory Jones
and
is
no
struggling to throw
shade
the
to Emory
ball.
Jones, but it's not Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, it's not Quinn Ewers. It's also not Steve Sarkisian. So I think Steve Sarkisian is going to get up for this game for sure. I think Oklahoma gets up for this game as well. I do think this, if Oklahoma's defense shows up, which I think there's a chance it does. I think this could still kind of be a slugfest. I don't know that we're going to see a ton of explosive plays that we're maybe used to in this game. I think this might just be really gritty rivalry game, and I love it. And we've talked about this. This is the one rivalry game where it's okay to play it in the Cotton Bowl because of the history of
Yeah.
that stadium and because of
Yep.
the atmosphere of that stadium being like almost like a high school stadium makes it awesome. Makes it
Mhm.
awesome. That field has not changed in, I mean, like how many years? I don't even know. I don't even know. But yeah, give me Texas. Lame for our picks. Uh, yeah. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I'll add on to your point about Texas being able to stop the run and Oklahoma struggling to get the running game going, especially with those running backs. Chase McClellan and Roydell Williams for Alabama averaged less than 3.5 yards per carry, right? And if Oklahoma's going to win this game and give themselves a chance to win this game and stay in it for 4 quarters, they have to do better than that. And obviously, Bama's O line at the time was not playing great, but maybe it was just because Texas defensive line made them look bad. That's also a possibility. And while Oklahoma's O line I think has played good for the most part, it's going to be their biggest test by far. With Texas, I think Cincinnati was a good test for sure, but Texas different animal with Ant Hill coming off the edge as well, and doing the fun things I like to do with him. But a good point you brought up there is Oklahoma's defense keeping them in it. I think I love their secondary. I love Woody Washington. I love obviously Peyton Bowen, the freshman, and then of course, you know, Billy Bowman, maybe the best player on their team there in the secondary. So those guys against the elite weapons of Texas is going to be really, really fun to watch. And obviously we'll keep an eye on that. But I think Texas up front has a little advantage with their O line playing the way they are. Like you mentioned, Jonathan Brooks playing well. Steve Sarkisian, I think, is going to commit to running the football. They've blown leads in this game before, right? Everyone remembers 2 years ago the shootout that was Bijan Robinson doing his thing, Caleb Williams coming in that game and carrying them to a victory. This different Texas football team. Obviously Oklahoma, different team. No more Lincoln Riley, no more Caleb Williams. And obviously their defense is probably a lot better than it was 2 years ago. But I think Texas is built to finish games, and I think I took the over on both these teams back in the preseason. The win total, right? I'm very high on both of them, and so I'm not shading Oklahoma. I just think Texas is a really, really good football team right now, maybe the best in the country, and they're going to show that this weekend.